Hello, whiskey folk, and welcome to the live stream to celebrate 6 years on YouTube for No Nonsense Whisky. I will see you in just a wee moment. Hi everybody, Vin here of course for a live stream today. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, so I'm probably going to be a little bit rusty. I've had to dust off the cobwebs of StreamYard and get all that up and running again. So hopefully it's all as it was before. But yeah, I'm here doing a quick live stream in this really boiling hot summer's day. I don't know why I picked today to do it, but it is what it is. So if I look a bit damp at any point, I can only apologize about that. I've got my little wee fan down here doing its thing, so hopefully that's going to keep me cool throughout. And yeah, I've got a big old microphone in the way, but hopefully the audio is coming through nicely. I'll be jumping into the chat in a little bit, but I just wanted to do a quick intro about what we're going to be talking about today. Nothing too heavy. I don't have like a huge like kind of run list of things I want to talk about today, but I'm going to be talking a little bit about my experiences on YouTube. 6 years is a fairly long time to be doing anything. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some drams that have really impressed me over the last year. Obviously, I'll be engaging with you guys in the chat in just a moment and throughout. And as always with these live streams, if you want to say hello to me or anything like that, then you can at me and it should pop up at orange for me. And of course, there's, all the other gumph like super chats and Patreon stuff like that. But I'm not here to talk about that today. Here I'm just here to talk about the celebration of being here today. And I do have a kind of a quiz for the end. I'm not going to be going quite as long as Roy usually does, but it's a quiz with a difference. And I'll get to that a bit later on. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to be doing that. I'm aiming for about 2 hours, but it might be less, might be more. Depends on how much I get through it. But yeah, in any case, that's me talking a bit about it. But let's get into the chat box and see who's down below. I think we've got 35 in. That's amazing. Love it. Thank you. We had an early message from Nicholas, MD85. He says, congratulations. Thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who's congratulating me. I'm not going to reel off everybody, but Whiskey with Molly says, you better have clothes on. Absolutely, Ben, because it is so hot in here. I cannot describe it. I mean, everyone knows, we just had a heat wave in the UK. We haven't had any rain for like a month, and now we've got another mini heat wave almost. It's like 30 degrees in here. And yes, I know people across the world experience far higher temperatures more regularly, but we British people are not built to cope with this sort of weather, and we don't have houses that are built to cope with this weather. We have houses that are built to deal with 6 months of freezing cold weather. So they keep the heat in, and I've got my windows closed. I did have them open, but the noise from the street was unbelievable. So for your benefit, I've closed the windows, and hopefully the fan will carry on. P Head's in. He says congratulations. Thank you very much. Phil Ingram, hopefully he's still around. But yeah, thank you very much for saying congratulations. Drew from AZ says he can't stay, but hopefully he'll catch the replay. These things are going to be available on replay. Whiskey Straight Owl, lovely to have you in, man. We've got a lot of YouTubers in today, of course, Whiskey Straight Owl being one of those, and then Whiskey Shared as well. Toby in the chat down below. Definitely engage with all whiskey tubers. I've always said that. I like to think the majority of us anyway are very collaborative. I'll get into that in a little bit. Who else have we got? Andrew Butler, nice one. Thank you for coming in. And David Owen. Did I say David Owen as well? I might have skipped David Owen. He says congratulations as well. Thank you very much. Jeff Whiskey, another YouTuber. He's in. He's saying everyone ready for a no clothes whiskey stream. Yeah. Definitely not. Although I have to say I am wearing shorts. But unless I have to get up for some unknown reason, you won't be seeing that. But it's got to be done, I'm afraid. It's got to be done. I just want to make sure I don't skip anybody. Andy Walker says hi. Hello, mate. We have Whiskey Diary Ben in. He says, what up? And he's got his cool little orange hand there. So nice one. Nice one for popping in. David Evans, thank you for coming in. Top Whiskies is here. Yes. I will imagine that's Ed for sure. I don't think anyone else is running that for him. I have to say as well, before I carry on, I'm having a little beer here to help me cool down a little bit. So you'll see me cheating on whiskey every now and again. Cheers. I do have some water as well, but that's for later. Wraith, I think I'm saying that right, Wraith. I always think, should I be saying that differently? It says good evening. Thank you very much. Shay Francis is in. Nice one. Alistair Gray is in. Greetham's Garden. Thank you very much. You're relatively new to the scene for me. I think you've just started following me, so thank you very much. Luna's in. Jimmy Jazz is in. Mark JG's in. Yes, loads of cool people. I should do these more often, right? You know, if you want me to do these more often, make sure you hit the like button. That's all I can say, because I should. Donna Pass Whiskey, thank you very much for checking me out again. It's great to see you back on the channel. Graham Brown is in. Loads of people. God, this is amazing. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. I'm going to keep going just for a second, and I'll sort of come back to it a bit later. A few more minutes of this. Kilco's in. Brian, nice one. Thank you very much. Whiskey Stream Fire, yes. Nice one, dude. Thank you very much for checking out the stream today. Michael, speak of whiskey. Yes. I think we're almost there. Ray says, right, rhymes with faith. Yeah, I think I've got that right. Sound. I think one final one. James Morgan and Whiskey Lover Society. I think that's me. There you go. A couple more. Multi-Mission, Menno, and Ethan Sterner. All everyone in. In any case, amazing. Thank you very much for coming in, because it's just really cool. Really cool to have this community around me, and all of the YouTubers. We really appreciate the support that you give us. I haven't got a dram at the moment, so I'm going to pour my first one of the evening. I've got basically, what have I got? I've got like 5 whiskies that have impressed me one way or the other over the last year. And in fact, 2 of them aren't even whiskey technically, not even technically about it, but you know, it is what it is. So the first one I'm going to pour is purely because it's probably the lowest ABV, is this one here. And this is the Glasgow 1770 triple distilled. The reason why this has impressed me, I'm going to try and sort of talk a bit slower, I think, because I tend to gas on and get through these things pretty quickly. This impressed me on many different levels. First and foremost, really, is the first release of this. This isn't the first release. This is the second, I want to say, second batch. The first release, I didn't like at all. It was perfectly palatable, but they'd aged it solely in virgin oak. And for me, I don't know, it was my least favourite of the 3 of their core range, and it just didn't do anything for me. It was a bit, I always say it's a bit gassy. I don't really know what that means, really. In fact, I ended up giving the bottle away. That says it all for me. Very rarely do I give a bottle away because I'm just not going to drink it. So I gave it to a friend who would drink it. The reason why this impressed me is because they changed the recipe. Nothing to do with me, of course. They just changed it. I think they must have got a lot of feedback like that. To say basically that it was a bit much, I think. In fact, yeah, look, Toby Whiskey Shed, he's saying that he wasn't a fan of the first. This one here is much better. Much better. It even gives the original a run from its money now, and I reach for this fairly regularly. Second reason why this impressed me is that now the core range is 700 milliliters instead of 500. You know, there used to be a half litre. In fact, have I got... There you go. This was my whiskey of the year last year. I'm not talking about this one today, but you can see that I won't get my lines right. They don't really have much size difference, right? But the footprint, I mean, my camera's not doing it any justice at all, but this is wider, longer, and slightly taller. And they've managed to do all of that to give you that extra 200 milliliters, and it's the same price as it ever was. And for me, that impresses me because they didn't have to do that. You know, they could have got away with releasing this for the same sort of price as it might have been as a full 70, full 700. They didn't have to do that. Finally, and this is a bit of a nice little touch, but I really love this cap here because if you can see, just about, it's got a little screw in on it. And I think they told me it's because it was for the Asian markets. You know, they have a real problem with corks popping with the pressure of the heat or whatever, but it locks in place. You know, it's not the first one to do that. You know, Highland Park did a little bit like that a little while ago. I'm not sure if they're still doing that. Haven't bought a Highland Park in a long time, to be honest. But I really like that. I really like that thing. It's a nice little feature. And yeah, essentially, I think that it's a whiskey that I think people should be checking out. The whole Glasgow 1770 range is really good now. If you were concerned about it being a half litre, then you need Low Longeby. I'm not sure if that's gone out to Master of Malt and whatnot, but yeah, it's definitely on their website. But yeah, you should definitely go and check them out, because the peated, whether I just put that down there, my whiskey of the year 2021. It's a PX. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but yeah, it's so good. And this one here, again, they've changed the recipe so that it's now got ex-bourbon casks and virgin oak casks. So it's a little bit less in your face, which sounds like a really silly thing to do. But for me, it works. Now, I'm not going to go heavy into tasting notes, as you guys know that I never do, but it's just got so many fruity flavors to it. It's still got lots of that virgin oak that you can tell. It's very oaky. I mean, we're talking 3 years, 4 years for this tops. So, natural color, all that jazz. We like that. Yeah. Whiskey Shared's off to buy a bottle. I have to say, I mean, it's sort of mirroring a stream that Roy did a little while ago where he was talking about some whiskies. None of these are intended to be like my best of, and they're certainly not intended for you just to go and buy them. I know I've just said that with this one, but just go and check them out is all I'm saying. You can get the sample packs, but I'm not saying you need to go out and buy these things for sure. But yeah, my first dram of the evening, I will say cheers to you all. Thanks for jumping in. Hopefully this has gone out. It's obviously going out on YouTube. It's should be going out on Facebook as well, and it should be going out on Twitch. I've got ticks on all of them. Obviously YouTube's the preferred platform. We all like YouTube, and I can see all the chat and whatnot. In fact, I should check my other comments here just to make sure. If you're commenting on Facebook, I might miss it. So I apologize if I do miss it. And same with Twitch as well. It's not, it's not, StreamYard isn't the best for that, but it's a really handy thing to be able to stream, because I can't figure out all that, what do you call it, OBS stuff. It's hard work. That is big old learning curve. Oh, I've got someone's bought me a dram. Whiskey malt content. Thank you very much, Vlad. I massively appreciated. Considering we are so close, it's a crime that I haven't met up with you yet. But we should. He's in the next city on from me. I'm very lazy. I don't travel well. Yeah, it takes a lot to get me out of the house, unfortunately. But I will. I'm going to be out and about soon. I think I'm going to try and get up to Glasgow. Or dare I say this year? Definitely when it's cooler. I'm not going anywhere while it's like this. Ugh. Anyway, I think, have I got any questions down here? Feel free to fire me questions at any point, by the way. If you want to know anything about the channel, if you want to know anything about the back stuff, that's all this is really. It's just a nice little chat with you guys. I might end up firing through this pretty quickly, but I hope not. I want to have a good chat with you guys. So I'm gonna have another sip of this. Yeah, it's a properly good whiskey. That 50 quid. Did I say that already? I said it was the same price, but it's 50 quid. 50 quid. Oh, and look here as well. Whiskey Diary Ben sharing his badge. He's been a member for 17 months. Nice. Still not got a bottle of that triple distilled. Yeah, and you're right next to it as well, my friend. So head down to them, send them an email, and see if you can go and have a visit, because I need to go and visit them. I've been talking to them for a good couple of years now. I still haven't been, but I also haven't been to Glasgow for a long time. So need to get back up there. But yeah, 17 months is a long time to support me. So thank you very much for that. And thank you to everyone who's obviously a patron subscriber as well. It's muchly appreciated. Genuinely, I know people say it's a lot, but genuinely, you keep the lights on here, because it's a surprisingly expensive endeavor to keep a channel going, and you guys really help. Definitely, really help. I massively appreciate it. Probably don't appreciate you enough, but I do try. Okay. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was just a little bit about YouTube in general. So going back 6 years, when I started doing my my whiskey channel, it was really, there was just a handful. Though there was a few American guys, a few that are still going, Scotch Test Dummies and whatnot. But there was obviously just Ralphie in the UK at the time, and I had no problem with Ralphie at all. He's excellent content, the godfather of WhiskyTube. But I remember sitting there thinking at the time, like there was no one really doing shorter videos. It's great to sit there for the kind of get the full experience, the half an hour, how to add water, the extras afterwards. Love all of that. But me, I've got like no attention span, so I tended to think, well, I wish someone was doing it like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that sort of thing. And no one was. And I did some searching around and I couldn't find anybody. And I was talking to my wife a lot about whiskey. I was getting into whiskey in a big way, and basically all of my friends and family don't really drink whiskey, and they were pretty much sick of hearing about me talking about whiskey all the time. So I decided I was going to grab my camera and see what I could do. I've always fancied doing something like with YouTube, and I had a channel beforehand. I've actually got a personal channel. If you for some reason you know my full name, it's not a secret, but if you do know it, you can find my full channel, and I play about with other things on there like vlogs and whatnot. Not very often, but I did back in the day, and I could never really find something. And then I started talking about whiskey, and I released my first video. And I was going to bring that up and show you it now, but I don't want to hurt anyone's ears with that. But if you want to go and check out my old videos, please do, because they're a good laugh and they're really bad, basically. And the first one took me all weekend to do, but it wasn't really until a few more people started coming through. I started in, I say August, so I'm saying 6 years is August, but it was actually May when I released my first trailer, but it was August when I first started doing weekly content almost. Yeah, and it's been pretty much since then. I reckon I've done weekly content since then. I've got a couple of questions here, so I'm going to carry on with my little rant afterwards. But Luna says, just had the first release by 1770. How does this one compare to the first release in your opinion? So you're talking about the triple distilled first and this, I imagine. It's completely different. It's completely different. Two different whiskies entirely, for the better, I would say as well. If you really, really, really liked the triple distilled originally, I'm gonna put that there so you know what I'm talking about. Then you probably, you would like this. You would like this, but it's different. But if you didn't like the triple distilled first, it's well worth checking out again, because they made some significant changes. Yeah. Obviously, they're on batch release, so things could change at any time. And they were mentioning it on the front. They were saying first release or whatever. I think I forgot where I put it again. Yeah, this one isn't the first release of that either. I think I did have a number one of it, and they were about the same, to be fair. But why change? This is gold. Why change that? Yeah, I'm not talking about that one. Oh, she says she's talking about their maiden release. I didn't actually try any of those, I have to say. When they had their core range for the first time, that's when I first jumped on board with them. And the only other things I've tried by them are the special releases that you just see over my shoulder here. Boop, boop, boop. That Somerton released 2 in a row, and they're astounding as well. And I did open up a dialogue with them. Probably shouldn't say this, but I did open up a dialogue with them about bottling a No Nonsense Whisky bottle. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet, because, well, truth be told, it's numbers. It's numbers that are the problem. I genuinely don't think I'd be able to sell sort of 350 bottles. is the truth of it all. So yeah, if you think you might want one, then let me know, and I'll look into it again. But it's a big risk. It's a big risk to outlay that sort of money without being able to know you're going to sell it. Put it that way. Multi-Mission says, was there any point along your journey a grand scheme to the channel, or was it just growing? And yeah, okay. So basically, what he's asking is, did I ever have a plan with it? The quick answer is no. And even now, I have to say I am not a businessman. I've been trying to turn No Nonsense Whisky into some sort of I don't want to say cash generator, but yeah, I want it to be. I would love it to be my job. Basically, I would love it to be my job, but I don't really understand that side of things to make it happen. I've got some merchandise and I've been working on that. I've got my bottles, and like I've said a million times, really, really fun thing to do. But if you ever want to make money out of whiskey, don't release your own whiskey, because there's nothing to be made. Not at this level, anyway. Not at this level. It's great fun to do, and I will carry on doing it, because my big aim with releasing whiskey is to get whiskey to you as cheap as possible. Unfortunately, mine still carry a premium because of the small volumes, but there was never really a big plan. Never really a big plan at all. I've just been rolling with the punches, basically. Whenever an opportunity lands my way, I tend to explore it and go on from there. But good question, yeah, because there are a lot of people out there that have a much savvier business head than me and have been able to make more things of it. I mean, I'm not even a very good video editor, which is why I do the no nonsense thing. I don't really do much video editing. I'm not really very good social media presence or anything like that. You know, that's what you get with me. It literally is just me with a camera and some whiskey, and hopefully that's my USP. You know, my unique selling point, as they say. Yeah, so I was talking about the whiskey journey, and so I started doing my channel, and there I was producing content. And it wasn't until the year after that sort of people like Roy came along, who he sort of came on. He's been doing his thing on his blog for years and years and years, but he moved over to YouTube the year after me. So what I think it was 2017, early 2017, and actually he did he reach out to me, or all I can tell you is I was his 11th subscriber. So I was the first person to subscribe to his channel that wasn't like one of his family members. And we got chatting because of that. So he got in touch, and I sort of helped him out with the YouTube side of things, which is ironic now because he's like soared straight past me. You know, he's really hit his stride with the V pubs and whatnot. Absolutely more power to him. I can't believe he's only got 20,000 subscribers. It should be more. But yeah, he really helped me out at the start, and hopefully I him. But he's got excellent knowledge of marketing and the kind of like logos, like this logo up here and here. He designed that for me years ago. Funny story about that. I will tell you many anecdotes, but that hand that's on there, boom, the no. He originally had an idea. I said I just wanted any old hand, didn't care. He wanted it to be my hand. So what he wanted me to do was to send him a picture of like this. Some people know this story already, but it's so he wanted me to do this. But you'll see, look, like my fingers don't evenly space. But here's the really funny thing: when I do evenly space my fingers, watch what happens. My little finger twitches out, and my other fingers don't move. So there you go. Like, I'm trying to bring it back in now, and my little finger won't do it. So I can't take this picture. I can't have this image of my hand because my hand doesn't do it. So we ended up using just a stock image. But that's a true story. Jeff's asking, did he ask for my feet pictures as well? He did, but he did promise that I did promise I wouldn't tell anybody. But you know, you've brought it out to the shade. There we go. I think I should probably move on to my next whiskey. Do let me know what you're all drinking in your glass out there. Hopefully some of you have got this next one, because I know a lot of you are into it, and I haven't covered this yet. I'm going to eventually. Of course, we have here the Loch Lomond 10-year-old single cask, first fill, bourbon barrel. Of course, Roy's whiskey. I have opened this already. This isn't a live pop. This microphone is very inconveniently placed. And I'm not going to give a whole suite of opinions on this because I haven't really delved into it much. As you can see, we've got just a wee bit gone. Ledaig's drinking the Cotswolds Reserve. Nice. I finished my bottle of that pretty quickly after I gave it a bit of a battering on a video. Not a battering. I just said that it was priced too high. But yeah, and Toby says he's opening his next week. But yeah, this one here is Roy's baby. Now I happen to know. I mean, when it dropped, I didn't know it was dropping because I'm a bit of a sod, and I had my notifications for Patreon turned off, so I didn't actually see his post. Somebody else told me about it on my Discord. Good opportunity to plug my Discord. If you're into Discord, go and check out the description below and join the old Discord channel. There's a really good group of people on there, and we do talk a lot of nonsense, to be fair, but we enjoy our chat there too. So yeah, anyway, I didn't have it on, and one of those guys told me about it. And Roy has been an excellent supporter of my whiskies. He's bought all of mine. In fact, I think he's bought multiples of mine. So it was an absolute no-brainer to get this. Absolute no-brainer. I know how hard it is to get these things to go out. He's done an absolute stellar job of getting this out. And what we've got here is what is it? I think someone can remind me of this. Isn't it like a Chardonnay? Is it Chardonnay yeast? Something like that. Someone drop it in the chat for me. Like I said, I haven't really done my research on it yet because I haven't done my video. But yeah. Yeah, Lee J saying I ordered it while we were chatting. Yeah, literally, people were. I had some people on like a video, so once a month or something like that, we do a little hangout, which is private. It's not out on YouTube or anything like that, and it's all on Discord, and it's a bring your own booze kind of thing. So yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, then please do check that out. And while I was on that chat, I just ordered it there and then had to do it, and I'm glad I did because it sold out the next day. So sound, but yeah, I'll say cheers to you all again. Starting to feel a bit sweaty now. And a cool 54.9% isn't going to do that any favors whatsoever. Now, I've got to say, this is a really impressive whiskey. And I'm a little bit jealous of it, to be honest. It kicks the crap out of my whiskies. Well, the non-peated ones anyway. I think the McMira one, I do love a peated whiskey. But yeah, for sure, this is quality. And hopefully you all managed to get some because it sold out like instantly, 250 bottles flying off, which is really impressive. And that's really that's really down to you guys, of course. The people that bought it. It's a stunning thing. You guys are legends. Oh, I've just got another super chat in from Toby. Thank you very much. He says, congrats, Finn. Thanks for all your valuable help and support with my channel. Here's to the next 6 years. Absolute pleasure, my friend. Something that I like to do and I've always done is I try to help other channels when I can. I don't want to go on about it because I try not to make it a public thing of it, but especially on Discord, we have a little kind of private area for YouTubers where we can chat about things that are going on. We can help each other out with editing tips and watch each other's videos before they go live and stuff, and things like that. But I've been known to sort of engage with people privately and sort of give them pointers because YouTube doesn't matter about your editing skill. It doesn't matter about, it's all about SEO, search engine optimization. You need to get your finger on that pulse. And if you can't do that, nobody's ever going to see your video, basically, which is sad. It's a sad thing, but you have to get your head around that. And I don't like to see people producing quality content and it not being seen. So I do tend to reach out and help people out when they just started out. But I don't capture everybody, as I mentioned earlier, when I started out doing the channel, there was maybe a handful of people. So I was quite lucky to start when I did, because genuinely, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if I started the channel now, I wouldn't be getting anywhere near what I'm at in terms of subscriber count. Definitely not, 100% not. So I was a bit fortunate with my timing, but that doesn't mean that people can't be helped. There's still a place, even with all the hundreds of channels that there are now. There's still a place for every channel, and everyone's opinion is valid. Truth. Oh, Reb's in. I've just seen Reb. I think he mentioned something a bit earlier, but he's got a bottle of this waiting for him. Excellent. This is superb. I think a few people have got this in their glass right now. What does everyone think about it? It wasn't cheap, 75 quid, but I get it. That's the thing, if this would have been a standard Loch Lomond release, just by Loch Lomond, 100% would not have bought it, without a doubt. But it's Roy's release, so it had to be bought. And I'm very happy with it. Yeah, it's probably one of the most expensive bottles I bought in a while, but I'm very happy with that purchase. And I know from personal experience how expensive it is to get your own whiskey out, again, especially in these small volumes. This 250 bottle range. It's it's astounding. I haven't done my video on it yet. I'm not going to do it anytime soon, I don't think, either. I want to spend some time with it. There are lots of other channels that have covered it already. I think maybe not Toby's covered it. I think he said he's doing it next week. Yeah, Ben's covered it. Jeff's covered it in several different ways. So yeah, go and check out their content if you want to see if this is an enjoyable jam or not. I don't want to keep banging on about it, because if you haven't got it, it's only going to make you jealous, and if you have got it, then you know how good it is. So. David Evans is just saying, stop doing yourself down. Your channel is amazing. Content is great. You're a champion. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. I have to say I suffer very keenly with something called imposter syndrome, very keenly. So I will always think my content is rubbish, always, even when it's the best I've done, always. But that's just me. I'll do my best to work on that. Reb's asking why 100% you wouldn't have bought it. I can only say for certain with my own spending habits, 75 quid tends to put me off immediately too much. So it's like it'd have to be something really special, and a standard release that has no I'm trying to find the right words, but it has no kind of connection to me. I wouldn't have gone out and bought that. Like, it would have seemed too much. But the connection I have over YouTube, over WhiskyTube, with Roy Aqvavitae was all I needed to know. I mean, I probably would have spent £100 on his bottle, but because of the channel, I have to be quite careful with my spending. I need 4 bottles every month, right? So I can't just be willy-nilly spending 75 quid on a bottle every week. Otherwise, I'll very quickly be bankrupt and not be producing any more content. That's the only reason why, Reb. It's nothing to do with Loch Lomond. Love Loch Lomond, but yeah, 75 quid would be a bit too much, I think, to buy. But I'll be getting into that in a little bit, because it's not a hard and fast rule. I will spend it. I will spend it if I need to. I think I missed a comment from Ben Marnock, of course. Hello. I think I didn't say hello to you earlier, but hello anyway. He's going to the Fringe Festival tomorrow and wearing some of my merch. Yeah, he's got most of it. I think he's got my bag, my hat, my beanie. A bit of a legend. He's been around for a while, so thank you very much. Chris is asking for a sample swap. I think he wants to swap me my own peated McMeera back on myself. We'll talk, my friend. We'll talk. And Luna's asking, would you adapt your spending habits when you're looking at the rising prices at the moment? Man, I am gutted about some of the price rises. Case in point, Talisker 18 years. What an utter shambles that is. I reviewed that, oh God, years ago now, and it was something like 70 quid. And until extremely recently, I always used to give it as my best value 18-year-old whiskey. And now they've released it. It's out for like, been re-released. It's like 100. What's Toby saying? 175 quid. I mean, that's bad, right? That's not good. I'm trying hard to find the right words here, because I'm conscious that people might still have their kids awake, but that's bollocks. Sorry, Talisker, but I am not spending that sort of money on your dram, unfortunately. But yeah, to answer the question more keenly, of course you have to adapt your spending habits. But I have to say, for the £30 to £50 mark, although we're not getting the age statements much anymore, it does exist. We're not getting them much anymore. They're pushing out further and further away. They are being backfilled by some pretty exceptional new whiskey. There is, my whole channel is built on an ethos of spending like 30 to 50 quid on a bottle. And I've been going for 6 years, and I've got enough down here to cover me for the next year, pretty much. No, maybe not that much, maybe 4 months. But my whole ethos is spending that sort of money, and I've managed to keep doing it regardless. So maybe one day I'll struggle. Maybe, all the whiskey will be gone. But I think there's always going to be a producer that fills that hole and produces quality whiskey. That's the important bit, the quality versus the price. And I think that if we have to lose age-dated Scotch to the upper echelons, then whatever, when people stop buying it, the price will come down. That's the only way you can say it. Because, looking back to like the 70s, getting a bit deep now, but looking back to the 70s odd, when we had, a financial crisis and the distilleries were still absolutely bollocking out their whiskey, it created far too much supply and there was no demand for it. So what happened? All the distilleries got closed down, which is a massive shame. I don't want to see that happen. But we are very much in a whiskey bubble right now, and we are on the bell curve. If you look at popularity of spirits throughout the years, it's sort of like this, isn't it? It's a wave. And we are very much on that bell curve at the moment. I think we're still going up, but people's spending habits have changed with lockdowns, and we're all having sort of financial crisis, the cost of living crisis. That's the other thing about doing this whiskey thing, right? It's a luxury product. And when the gas bill goes up, the first thing that's easy to get cut is luxuries like whiskey. Reb saying early 80s. There you go. I was a bit too young, so I didn't really see it happening. But there you go. so yeah, it's going to be a tough time coming forwards, I think. But I'm sure we'll all get through it together. Who else is saying things to me? Yeah, but as people saying they've been watching me for 6 years, which is awesome. Really appreciate that. I can't believe people are still sticking around, to be honest. But yeah, I know we've talked about that. I'm not going to keep being self-deprecating, but familiar approach for me, Vin. This is Pete Head saying, despite something the best I've done, there's always room for improvement. Yes, indeed. Mamuka says, Vin, does any other store will sell your barrel picks? I don't know. So okay, so I'll give you the full story on that. I've got the 3 releases now. I've got the Dalmore and the Aberfeldy. Those were available on Ushki. They were the store I worked with, but they closed down this year very quietly. It was not announced, so they've closed down. And without getting too much into the deal that was made with them, any remaining stock is gone, essentially. So they, basically what exists is what exists. So no, there's no way of getting those anymore. They're gone. There might be some around. I think there's some in like Milroy's of London has a couple of bottles, and I mean I've got my personal stash, but that brings me on to the next one, which is this one here, the McMira. This one I did a bit differently. Good opportunity to talk about that, to be fair. But the first 2 I picked blind with Ushki. They sent me some samples. I picked them, then found out what they were, and then we priced them accordingly, whatnot. For want of a better word, I preferred to have a bit more control over my sales. So I did this one entirely on my own. I bought the cask off of the off McMira themselves. I sort of dealt with them as a private customer. They were really, really good with it. What they're meant to do is send you the stock, and then obviously you keep it. But what they agreed to do was ship out all the bottles that I pre-sold to people if I sent them those details. We worked all that out behind the scenes, and I pre-sold the bottles, but we picked it as there was like 5 of us who got together. A few of them are in the chat today, and we unanimously picked this one out of 5. And I was really, really happy with that, because it wasn't just me. It wasn't just a whiskey I liked, like these 2. Those were just 2 whiskies that I liked, and some people liked them, some people didn't, and that's fair enough. But this one went down a lot better because it was picked by committee, and we enjoyed that. But yeah. The funny thing about that was I did have some remaining stock of that, and technically, yes, I still do. I've got about 8 bottles of the McMira still knocking around, but I have them at home, and I'm not legally allowed to sell them from my property unless I have a license, which I don't. So I was selling them through a warehouse, and if you want one, I do have ways of getting it to you legally by going through the warehouse and back out again, but I took them out of the warehouse because they were costing me shelf space. Getting into the details of it all here, but yeah, that's the reason why you can't get them. But yeah, so there isn't really any way of getting any of them right now. But if you do want some of them at Mira, it's fairly expensive again at 58 quid for a half litre. But just get in touch with me, because I can figure something out and get it through the right channels to make sure that no one's breaking the law. Nobody wants a phone call from the council. They certainly don't. I'm just gonna have a wee sip of my beer. Yeah, so that's that story. Kilko says, I've always felt a bit weird trying to raise funds to keep myself afloat, mostly because I happen to be surrounded by thousands of dollars of whiskey. Yeah, it's true. And that's why I don't go into it a lot. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, yes, I have a little join button down below, and yes, I have merchandise, and yes, I have Patreon, but I very, very, very rarely mention it on videos. I've got like a thing at the back end, like credits where it comes up, but it's really only for people who just want to chuck me a few quid. I don't rely on it. It really helps. But I don't rely on it. So yeah, it's always there. But yeah, same. I always feel awkward talking about it and getting it as well. But it's always appreciated. Always appreciated. Jeff's asking about new plans for a backdrop. I do have plans for a new backdrop. I've made absolutely zero efforts on it at all now. This is, you probably noticed I moved house, and this is the wallpaper that came with the house, and I haven't done anything with that yet. I should really put up that map that I had before. I still haven't even built my TIE Fighter. I actually thought about that's a good idea for a live stream. Ken at Scotch Down Under does that sometimes, builds Lego and live streams. So I might do that at some time as well. But yeah, the big plan is to change this office around and have like a standing like shelf behind me. It's probably going to be a Kallax, just like everybody else, right? But I plan to do that and have it a bit more professional, let's say. Best way of going on about that. But yeah, I haven't really made any efforts on that. It's not cheap to do that sort of thing because I need to move everything around and get some shelves and stuff like that. But yeah, one day. All right, then I'm just going to close off on this Aqvavitae thing because it's. Oh, that caught me in the back of the throat. It's a stunning whiskey, absolutely stunning whiskey. And I'm sorry if you didn't get it, basically. Well, I need to have a little bit of water. You know how sometimes it gets you right on the uvula. Luna's saying that the Kallax seems to be the whiskey lover's choice. It certainly does. Excuse me. Okay. Right, so my voice is going to be struggling for a bit now because I've been caught by that jam a bit. But that's why I tried the excuse me. That's why I tried the triple distilled first, because I was hoping that wouldn't happen. But okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try something a little bit different. So you guys would have seen all of this stuff before because I've covered it on the channel. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some English non-whiskey now. This is a Circumstantial Rice, and we'll go into that in a bit because it's a really interesting dram. Oh dear. Do you know what? That's the first time on live stream that's caught me out. That has. Sometimes that happens when I'm recording a video. Some of you guys will know. Yeah, as Ben's saying down here as well. How are you all fitting a Victoriana on the Kallax? And same here. I've got like a bottle of Bimber that won't fit on there, so I'll have to figure that out. Probably going to go on top. Okay. This here is the Circumstantial Rice. Now, this is the Circumstance Distillery in Bristol. These guys are obviously English. Now, interestingly enough, you might have caught on the news if you're English or if you're into whiskey in any way. But the English whiskey, I don't know what they called themselves now, the English Whiskey Guild or something like that. It's a group of distilleries that are banded together to homogenize the way they do things. Is probably the best way of saying that. Similar to what the SWA are doing. It's about protection. I mean, right now there's no real laws to say that you can't like ship some Scotch down and call it English whiskey. I mean, I don't think anyone would, but there's no real laws to say you can't do that, right? So a lot of the new distilleries have joined that, and I haven't decided whether I think it's a good thing or not yet. It's fine if you're a distillery like, for instance, the Cotswolds, who are making whiskey in the traditional way, pot still, 3 years, blah blah blah. Then it's fine to join something like that because you don't really have to make any changes. But Circumstance Distillery have not joined it because they would not be able to release anything like this. So I'll go into how they make this in a bit because this code down here is important, and it's the same for reaching over this one as well. This is their wheat. I mean, that's been aged for 5 months. So, yeah, I mean, they could release it, I guess, but they would be under heavy pressure, I think, to change it. One thing I didn't get is the codes up on the website, so I'm just going to do that now, rather unprofessionally. Circumstance Distillery, so I can tell you how this was made as I hold this up. So what we have here is a mash bill of rice, but each of these numbers means something different. Ref codes. So here we have starting from, well, whatever, left to right. The 1 is the batch number. So this is a 1. This is a 1. Batch number 1. Nice and easy, right? The next number is an 8 here. This is how they ferment it. And in this case, it was 70% crushed rice, 30% malted barley, fermented for 14 days on British ale, mead, and distiller's yeast. So that's 3 different kinds of yeast, right? That's weird. So why not? Okay, but so far so good. The next one is a 1, and this is their distillation type. That's actually how this one was made as well. And this is a stainless steel pot still. Picture that, if you will, with a copper head. So we're talking, I should have probably got some images for you, but so obviously your pot still, copper steel, the head, what would be the swan neck. There's no swan neck on this as I'll go through. But that's copper. And then it goes on to a 4-plate copper column. So, that's not unusual. That happens a lot not a lot, but it happens sometimes in Scotland as well, and other places. So it's not completely unusual, but it's not traditional. And then almost finally, the other 8 here is their maturation. Now, this one here it says charred oak spindle. Now, they don't actually say this on the website, but I know this to be true. Charred oak spindle is they're literally chucking the spindles in the liquid, but it's in bulk containers, so it's in like a plastic container basically. No cask. There's no cask here at all. They are doing some cask stuff. They are doing a whiskey which I bought. That's coming out in September. I'll definitely cover that. And then they've aged that for 21 months in that, so it's just had some spindles floating around in it, or if they're big enough, rested in there. So it's completely bonkers. It's completely bonkers, but I have to say it really works. It really works, and I absolutely love this stuff. It's one of those ones where, it's like I've been meaning to put this into some blind tastings because it's not so different from whiskey that you would easily identify it as something completely out there. But it is different enough to make you really scratch your head about what it is. 100%. It's it's a really peculiar whiskey. I keep saying whiskey. It's not a whiskey. Can't call it whiskey. Won't call it whiskey. Grain spirit is what they're calling it. But unfortunately, that's sold out. Hopefully, they're going to do another batch of this. Luna's I think she just said it probably after I already said it, but yeah, no, they can't call it whiskey. I call it whiskey out of habit. I'm naughty like that. It's just in my head because I cover whiskey, so I keep saying whiskey, but none of these are whiskey. This isn't whiskey. Got another grain spirit again, but no, they can't call it whiskey. But lots of cool stuff going on in England right now. Lee J saying, Vin, are you going to the the release of the no, I'm not going to the release of the whiskey because it's in September and I can't get the day off because it's on a Friday, I think, if I remember rightly. So no, unfortunately, I'm not going to. Next time maybe, but they are going to send it to me. I've already sorted out the postage on that, and they're going to have some drams. I think they're going to send me some drams. Yeah, I'm struggling with getting places at the moment, just genuinely due to annual leave from the day job. That's it. I get my allocation comes around in October. Toby's asking, I thought they could call it whiskey, but they don't, as they use the SWA rules as the benchmark. Yeah, you're probably right. Because as I said earlier, that in England, we haven't got any rules in place. But I think people would kick off. We're so close to Scotland. I think people would genuinely kick off if a distillery started calling it whiskey when it wasn't under the normal regulations. But I think I'm just trying to remember now. I think this bleeds across into old EU law before the old Brexit happened, and I think we still use that EU law technically. Don't know. No professional on that. And then Luna's asking, might have missed it, but is it distilled from malted barley? It's got 30% malted barley, 70% crushed rice, and the wheat is scrolling up. 70% malted wheat, 30% malted barley, using Bavarian wheat, French saison, and distillers yeasts. 12-day fermentation. Amazing. And as Toby's saying there, milk and honey don't have the same rules, but they use SWA2 to have that credibility. Exactly that. I think if you want to, especially if you're marketing to people like us, right? I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about this. We as whiskey fans of, like, dare I say, single malt and premium blends, we're very, very, very small percentage, very, very small percentage of total whiskey sales worldwide. I think it's something like 10% or less is the single malt market, and then if we're talking about single cask strength stuff, that's even less. So, like, you guys, you 48, you 50 people, we're such a tiny proportion, but we're a focused group, right? So, and word gets around real quick. So if someone come out, like, so that Milk and Honey is a good example. If Milk and Honey released a 1-year-old whiskey, a 1-year-old spirit, sorry, my bad, a 1-year-old spirit, and called it whiskey, then we would be up in arms about it. And again, you're quite right that bourbon is called bourbon. It doesn't even have to be aged. I think it has to be in the barrel. So you just roll it around and you've got bourbon. But then they have rules in place for that. Says that if it's less than 2 years, it has to have the age statement on it. So they wouldn't be able to get away with that. So it would be like 1 year, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, straight bourbon, exactly as Luna's saying. That's 4 years and above. Oh, I don't know. I'm not hot on my bourbon. Right? I went through a bourbon phase a couple of years ago, and I had loads of bourbon on channel, and I've not gone off it, but I've been back into my Scotch and world whiskies recently. Okay, we're sort of powering through. We're doing good. Everyone doing good for time and whatnot. I know I'm doing this on a Thursday, and that wasn't intentional to kind of fill the gap of the V pub. It's just the day that I'm available. But yeah, I obviously don't intend for this to be compared to the V pub in any stretch of imagination. Roy's got that locked in, and I just do my best to have some entertaining things for you. One other, I haven't got enough glasses. I need another glass. One more thing I want to talk about before I get back onto proper whiskies. Now this, time for a Dram says quiz. There's definitely going to be a quiz, but it isn't going to be a quiz as you know it. And in fact, I'm second guessing myself on whether I've done enough for it, but we'll see. More information on that later. I don't want to spoil it. Okay. So talking of non-whiskey, right? And this even says on here, this is not whiskey. Can it zoom in? Nope. This is not whiskey. So if you caught my video on this, I've done a couple of videos on this. And if you caught it, then great. I'm going to be repeating that a little bit. But if you haven't, I want to talk to you a little bit about these guys, EToH. These are Denmark-based. They are producing rapidly aged spirits, whiskey, right? So this here is 9 days old. And that's natural colour, and I'll go into a little bit about that process in a bit. But if you want the full scope of that, I've done a couple of interviews with them. And they're just really great people. And something that many people, maybe you do know, but maybe you don't know, is sort of my day job. I'm a process guy, I'm an engineer, technician, whatever you want to talk about, stuff like that. So I like processes, I like efficiency, I like engineering. I love my whiskey for the passion of it all. I love the stories, I love the people, but how it's made engineering wise really impresses me. And what these guys are doing is they've tried to work out scientifically with the local universities what actually happens chemically in maturation over 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever. And we're talking about things like, we're not just talking about wood interaction, we're talking about oxygen, air interaction. We're talking about compound breakdowns. We're talking about, esters and all that gumph. I don't pretend to know too much about that. But they've gone down, and this isn't chucking some wood chips in a sonic bath, because all that really does is create that kind of wood interaction. It doesn't create that age. And that's what these guys have been trying to do. They've been trying to recreate aging in a much quicker environment. And they created their own reactor, and they put staves in that. And yes, there is a sonic bath with some wood chips as well. But they also introduce air into it, and they've put some catalysts in it as well to kind of recreate that stuff. And they arranged to have some samples sent over to me last year, and I tried them, and I've got a couple here still. You know, it's all interesting stuff, but you could tell that it wasn't really that kind of whiskey vibe. It wasn't whiskey, and it isn't whiskey. It's not trying to pretend to be, but it wasn't going to compete, I don't think. And then they got in touch and said we can now ship these to the UK, which they couldn't do before. We had right problems with it. So I grabbed this off, and this is their Arbedj. Sorry about anyone who is from Denmark. I believe it means work. And this is their peated release. So here you've got here it's malted peated barley, and it's Scottish. So what they've done is they bought distillate from Scotland, got it shipped over. They've finished it in steel. Sure, they've put the staves they put in there are sherry oloroso, and then we go into some kind of crazy stuff. So here, polarity diffractionation none, temperature 66, whatever. No catalyst in this, and an ultrasound of 180 joules per milliliter at I think that's meant to say 20,000 hertz, but it's a decimal place instead of a. Very, very interesting. 9 days that was in their reactor, and I'm going to pour a bit of this now because I've banged on about that a lot, and I need to test this, but I genuinely think that you wouldn't pick this out of a blind lineup. Genuinely, it's just there's definitely something about it for sure. It would have you scratching your head. So if I set you up a blind lineup and said it's going to be in there, then you'd probably pick it out maybe. But if you didn't know, okay, that's what I'm trying to say. If you didn't know, and I did a peated blind lineup, I don't think you'd know. Oh, it's just fantastic. I don't know what they're charging for it. I think it's quite a lot now, and the shipping is horrendous. But if you're on the continent, Luna, one for you. You can definitely get hold of this pretty easily, I think. I just realised I'm getting red cheeks from the heat, but sorry about that, guys. I'm going to have a sip of water. Peter's given us a list of Arbedj, Arbedj, all means work for sure. Which I think is ironic. Yeah, I think someone pointed out to me recently that it's called work, but actually they do it all in 9 days. So it's a bit of an irony. I think it's well worth it. Well worth it. Please do check them out. All right, so I was talking about YouTube and stuff before, and I want to kind of keep talking about that and where I'm going. We are an hour, yeah. We'll see how the quiz goes, but I think I'm probably aiming at about an hour and a half now, probably. But so what I'm doing next is interesting. So I haven't done a video on it yet. A video is coming, but I bought a cask. Nothing too. Don't get too excited. I bought a Welsh cask. It's in the Welsh Wind. I went there last year. If you've seen every video I've ever done, then you might notice that one somewhere down the path. But another video is coming. I've bought a 30-litre cask, red wine. Now the reason why I've done this is because they're making their spirit in an ice still. You've seen these things, right? Ice still. It's a big black box with a column on top of it, and the idea behind these things is that you don't need to double distillate in it. You can do it all in one. You know, it's sifting off the spirit at whatever you want it to. You tell it, you program it, and it does whatever you want it to. All right, you're taking the romance away from it again. But again, I said I'm the engineering guy. That fascinates me. Obviously, you're not going to see an ice still in Scotland. That's utterly prevented by SWA, pot stills only. But I wanted to see what whiskey, full-term maturation whiskey is going to taste like from an ice still. Will we be able to see any different? Will it be better? Will it be worse? I don't know. I'm just interested in that sort of thing. I know my man Tony, who's doing the Spirit of Birmingham. He's doing ice still, but he's obviously not anywhere near actually releasing something. In actual fact, he is now doing a he's now doing a thing where you can buy a cask, but I'd already bought my cask by the time that came around. So yeah, I think we must be on a slight delay because Toby's saying that Spirit of Birmingham using ice still. Yeah, they are using an ice still. But yeah, so I bought this cask, and I filled it myself. I've got a video of me filling it, so I'm going to release that at some point. And I did another interview with them talking about what it's going to be like. That's going to be available in 3 years' time, I guess. 2 and a bit years' time. 100% I'm going to sell it for sure. There's going to be bottles available. So obviously people, I'll be doing my 9-year celebration when I'm talking about this. So, but it's not going to be a money-making thing because I bought the cask, I'm paying for the cask and whatnot, and I'll try to make it like what I'll do is whatever I've spent on it, I'll divide that by the amount of bottles that I get, so that what you pay is what it cost. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the kind of future of the channel right now. Is I'm trying to make moves to organise more whiskey. That's going to be a long way off, so I need to get something out sooner rather than later, I guess. Unless a miracle happens, nothing's coming again this year. I've got nothing on the table right now. So, these things take ages to work out. So, hopefully, I'll get something out next year. But that's where I'm going with that. Andrew's asking what sort of red wine was involved. I actually don't know. There's a scratch in the back of my head that says it's some kind of Bordeaux, but don't quote me on that. They might have told me in the literature. I have to say, truth be told, I'm not a red wine guy. So I don't really know much about red wine. I know what I like and what I don't like, but I really like red wine whiskey. See how that goes. But the choices I had at the time were ex-bourbon, sherry cask, or red wine. And I was like, well, I don't really want to roll the dice on sherry cask. You guys know what I'm like with sherry casks. It's hit or miss with me. So I didn't want to roll the dice on that. Ex-bourbon would have given me a better idea of the distillate, sure. But I went with red wine just because it was the more interesting one. They've since released a whole bunch of other ones that I could have transferred it into, which would have been weird, right? But like stuff like cognac and Chardonnay, and I was a bit like, not really interested in any of that. Maybe next time. But yeah, that's the only reason I've gone for that red wine. Okay, yeah. So just to round up on this one, then I think if you can get it, like, don't spend too much money on it, but I really do need to arrange some blind tastings. If you're into that sort of thing, check out that Discord I was talking about earlier in the old description below, because we do organise things like that on there, because that's okay to do, right? The problem with shipping whiskey to you guys is that I can't sell it. So if it's free, if we're sending out packs for free to people, then skipping those laws, right? Skipping those laws. Okay, I've got one final whiskey to talk to you about before I move on to whatever this quiz is going to be like. We'll see. Traditionally, my quizzing is really bad, right? So anyone knows, I did one of Roy's quizzes before, and it was the only time anyone got 10 out of 10 because I thought it was hard and it wasn't. You guys know what you're talking about. Yeah. Phil saying we'll all be looking for this in a Discord blind tasting. Yeah, go for it. Obviously limited places, but okay. I need one more glass. Not very prepared. The last one I'll talk to you about is the Firkin, and this is the Firkin Rare, and this one here is the Ledaig 2008 Marsala cask. And I know, right, and at the start I said that this wasn't about going to grab these bottles, but I have to say, genuinely do. If you're into your peat and you're into Ledaig, and this is a Marsala finish, then no good. James Morgan saying, I follow the chat to help me get a decent score. Well, So you might not be glad to hear this, but my weird inflection that I've put on it is that won't matter. Basically, this isn't going to be a score based round. There's only going to be one person at the end of it who wins. I'll say no more. So yeah, it's you won't be able to follow the crowd basically, or it won't benefit you to do so. But you might have to guess. So yeah, Firkin, right? So I've covered these guys a lot. I've got like 3 of theirs to come up on the channel as well, all different kinds of ones. They do loads of other stuff. But this one here, as well as the Kalila that I've got up here, you can see it just there. That one also great, but this one here was astounding. Now what they're doing, I'm gonna go through it in detail. So if you know this already and you've seen my videos, then just I apologise, but it's run by a guy called Mike Collins, right? He's going to be on an upcoming Dram Slam episode. Everyone enjoying Dram Slam? Let me know. Yeah. It's a hard thing to produce, so I'm not sure I'll do more of them, but he's coming up on this. And he, before he did this, he was like a Diageo marketing guy. You know, he was around in the 80s. Him and his team, I should say, created the Johnny Walker Blue Label, I think the Green Label, and he also created the classic malts range. So, you know, the Talisker, the Dalwhinnie, blah blah blah. You know the 5 classic malts or whatever they are, the Aqvavitae. I forget what they are now off the top of my head, but you know, like he created those when no one was drinking single malt whiskey. He created those. So already, just based on that pedigree alone, and this is his retirement project. So this is him again pulling this out of, like, you know, swear word stuff. This is him pissing about basically. You know, he's bought casks. He's got like a big stock of casks from his career, and he's moving whiskey around into these special casks, which I'll talk about in a moment. But he knows what he's doing. They're not cheap. This is why I was talking earlier about the price of whiskey. These are all £69 each, which is kind of pure oil. You know, this is his humour that he's going on about. You know, 69. Okay, fine. I'll forgive him that. And it's the same with the Firkin thing, right? You know, that irony is not lost on them. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the size of cask Firkin. It's entirely because of what it sounds like. So forgive him those humours. So what he's done here is he's got himself a Ledaig 2008 distilled at Ledaig, obviously, at Tobermory Distillery. Now, I don't know how long that was sat in a whatever cask, probably an ex-bourbon cask. But at some point, they transferred it over to a special cask that they made themselves. And this is like, I'm going off the top of my head now, but I think it's American oak and European oak split down and then combined together. And then they season it with, in this case, Marsala wine, but it's always like a fortified wine. So there's some port casks and there's some Amontillado casks and stuff like that. So you can find something, if you know what you like, you can find something nice. And it creates something, oh my God. Just, I mean, it's utterly astounding whiskey. Yeah, I just need a moment with that one because it's, I think, I'm pretty sure this was one of my whiskies of the month, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be. I mean, it's 100% going to be in the running for my whiskey of the year this year. It's like I don't know. I can't infuse on it enough. And elephant in the room. Occasionally, I get sent a bottle of whiskey from the industry. Didn't get sent that. That was bought. I've bought nearly all of the Firkins. There's 2 down here that when I went to the Somerton, as I was leaving, they gave me the dregs of the bottles, and that's it. The rest of them, because they're a small brand, you know, they're not making any money. They're sold on Top Whiskies. I think he's already left. Ed's already left, but they're sold on Top Whiskies. You know, so I've been buying them basically. They originally sent me the sample pack. And when I was trying through them, I had to have the first one I liked was the Altmore. which I don't have anymore. I think it's gone. Is it gone? Whatever. I'm not going to search for it. But yeah, it's great. It's great. Been taking his time doing some Firkin around. Might be the best part of this life. Thanks. I was talking to Whiskey Diary Ben earlier because it's my first time I've done a stream in a long time. Bit nervous about it. Wasn't sure how it would go. And I had a very, very loose plan, and I've basically ignored all of that so far. And I've just chatted, which is kind of what I like doing. And hopefully you guys like it as well, because, well, 43 of you are still sticking around, so thanks. But yeah, me Firking around with that. I can't enthuse about this. Not all of them are as good as this. I think earlier on someone mentioned, Phil mentioned that the Talibarden. Bloody hell! I need to drill that out. So, that wasn't my favourite. I haven't reviewed that one yet. It's good. It's very good, but to have it at the same price as this is not cool for me, because they're not the same for me. But that's what I say about Firkin a lot. You need to read the words on the label. You can't just buy everything. If you like the sound of the distillery, if you like the sound of the cask, if you like the sound of the age, then you're gonna like the whiskey that's in. So for me, Talibarden is not something that I'm overly that familiar with. It's good, but it was the cask choice, the Oloroso Amontillado, not my two favourites. So yeah, long story long, basically. Look at the labels. If you see one that you like and you like the sound of, I reckon get it, because it's good stuff. All right. I've witted on enough. I guess we'll do quiz, right? And then if anyone's around after the quiz, we'll just have a nice little roundup. Now I don't know if this is going to work or not, guys. I'm not going to lie. If you've seen a British show called QI, sometimes they do a thing at the start, not on the main show, on the outtakes. They call it the cleverest person in the room. And what they do is they read out a fact, and you have to say whether it's true or false. And they do it like so. Basically, everyone stands up, and you put your hands on your head for true, or your hands on your bum for false, or the other way around, whichever way. And if you get it wrong, you're out. And the idea being that you go through it all, and you should have one left. But I've done my best to make them all tricky, but I've only got like 11, 12 questions. So if you all happen to be really, really good, then at the end of it, I've just got a like tiebreaker almost, and we'll figure out what we do when we get there. But yeah, so basically what I'm going to ask everyone to do is obviously pay attention. I haven't got it all coming up on the screen like Roy does, nothing like that. I'm going to read out the question once or twice, or the statement, I should say. It's not really a question. And you have to put in the chat one answer only, whether you think it's true or whether you think it's false. And I'm going to rely on you guys to pay attention to your score and be honest and truthful. I'm not going to go back and check this. There is a prize. It's going to be a hip flask of mine up here, or a Glencairn set, whichever one you don't have. If you've got one or the other, we can talk about it. I'll get that out to you, and that can be anywhere in the world. So if you're USA, whatever, you might get stung for charges. I'll try not to. I'll do my best. But like Menno, who was in, I've just got his hip flask back. He won a hip flask off me off Discord, and they wouldn't give it him. So yeah. We'll see. Maybe try hard not to win, Menno. But yeah, okay. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, basically, again. So I'm going to ask the question. You're not going to have long. I'm going to give you a few seconds really to guess. Obviously, I don't care if you look it up, cheat away all you like. And I will warn you though that all of these, most of them are, as Roy would say, a banana skin. Okay, so they're intentionally designed to be close to the truth but false if they're false. So don't think too hard about it, is what I'm saying. Okay, right. So let's get into it then. So first one, everyone ready to write true or false? The founder of Jameson Whiskey, John Jameson, was Scottish. True or false? I'm not going to give you long. Smash it in. I'm going to... That was a weird noise. So I'm not sure how much of a delay is going on here. Yeah, T and F's is fine. Okay, right. I'm going to call it now. So anyone who types after this, I'm giving you time. Anyone comes after this, get your answers in now quickly. It is true. John Jameson was Scottish. He was from Alloa, actually, apparently. I'm not going to cite any of my sources. So if I get it totally wrong, then get it. So if you answered false, you're out. So yeah, keep track of your own scores. The genuine idea behind this is to really like whittle it down half each time. Okay. So we'll see how we get on. I'm going to delete that so I don't say it again. Yeah, Anthony Lambert says already in doing better than Roy's quiz. Yeah, 100%. I think I get to usually like question 5 before I even get a point. 1 for 1. Okay, so next question, and some of these are pretty unfair. The first whiskey ever reviewed on No Nonsense Whisky was the Glenfiddich 12 year. True or false? The first whiskey that I ever reviewed on the channel was the Glenfiddich 12 year. True or false? Not asking for if you think it's false, what the right answer is. Don't care. But there you go. I'm going to have a sip. Okay. I'm calling that one there. The answer is false. The first one I reviewed was the Arbedj 12. Pablo saying, not sure, but it was in a tumbler. Yeah, it was in a tumbler. True story, right? When I first started the channel, so okay, true story. When I'm drinking at home, just of an evening, casually, I drink out of a tumbler. I don't drink out of a Glencairn. I drink out of a Glencairn when I'm assessing a whiskey for review and I'm making my tasting notes and whatnot. But casual drinking whiskey with friends, always a tumbler. So when I started the channel, I tried my hardest to kind of break away from the tradition of using a Glencairn. I was like, I enjoy whiskey like this. I would like you to enjoy whiskey like this. And honestly, I took so much crap for that. It was unreal. So I stopped, basically. Peer pressure. Peer pressured me into drinking out of a Glencairn. Okay. We're ready for the next one then. I'm trying to drag this out. Let's see what we've got. Okay. Drinks giant Diageo sent a vial of unmatured malt to the International Space Station to study the effects of zero gravity on maturation. True or false? Drinks giant Diageo sent a vial of unmatured malt to the International Space Station to study the effects of zero gravity on maturation. True or false? I like it. This is exactly what I was hoping it would be. A lot of field dividing. Basically, you're guessing, right? Because I would be. Jeff, you're not allowed to put a question mark. You got to be on. You got to be on it. I'll let it happen. I'll let it pass. Okay. Calling it now. No more answers. And yes, multi-mission, you're showing off now. Menno, you're showing off. It is false because it was Arbedj that did it. or their parent company, LVMH. Yeah. So yeah, if you guessed false, you got that right, and you are still in the game. Anyone who said true is out. Who's in? How many we got still in? Because hopefully there's not loads of you, because otherwise this is really going to go wrong. There's a few of you. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry that people are out. I know it sucks, but that's the nature of the game. Do you know what? This might work. I've got quite a few of these. I've got some good ones and some hard ones. Okay, going back to me again, of course. I forget which number this is now. 4. So the first whiskey that I re-reviewed on No Nonsense Whisky was the Glenfiddich 12. True or false? So not reviewed. This is the first whiskey that I re-reviewed, as in reviewed again, was the Glenfiddich 12. True or false? And this is unfair, right? Because I don't think anyone's actually going to know this. You know, of course, you won't know it. But oh wow, yeah. Green Thumb says it must be super laggy. It's only just mentioned the quiz. Yeah. You're far behind, my friend. So sorry about that, but I think you might have missed the quiz. Some people saying false, some people saying true. I'm so glad I'm out after that question. Yeah, sorry, Anthony. Okay. I'll put a line under that. Whoa. Got someone changing to false. Really, I should accept your first answer, but we'll see. We've got plenty of other questions to go. I'll let it slide this time. First answers only after this. The answer is false. It was, again, the Arbedj 12. I did the first 3 reviews of my channel again to celebrate 3 years. See how I did there? 3 years, 3 whiskies. I'm glad you're all being so honest. I like it. It's good. Thank you. Sorry, David. Who's left in? Because we don't have to go all the way to the end if Phil's been out 3 times. I like it. So, I mean, yeah, let me do a quick count. Who's... Okay, so we've got Shay in. Big Man Pete Head's in. Just... it might just be you two. Ben Marnock, you saying you're in, are you? You in? This is tough, innit? Because I know a lot of people watching their phones, and you must be sitting there. Yeah. Okay, I think we've got three or 4 people. Then let's just keep going on the next one. Which one do I want to say? Should I give you an easy one? Yeah, I'll give you an easy one. Okay. Originally created as a whiskey chaser, Mountain Dew is an old slang term for Highland Scotch. True or false? Originally created as a whiskey chaser, Mountain Dew is an old slang term for Highland Scotch. Luna says make it hard. I got some tough ones coming through. Oh, Manu, you still in? I didn't realize you were still in. Oh, no, you said out. You're being cheeky. Okay. Genuinely, I don't know who's in and who's not anymore. So you've all got to be trustworthy. Okay, I'm going to call it there then. James Morgan says very popular in the US, I believe. Yes, and I have to say, I'm sorry about this if you are from the US and you do like Mountain Dew, but it's properly disgusting. I mean, I felt like my gut was going to rot out when I tried some of that. But anyway, it is true. Mountain Dew is old. It's an old slang term for Highland Scotch. So I think either we've got 2 people left in, or we might have a winner already. Be honest about it. Ben Marnock's still in. Shay's still in. Okay, 2. The answer was true. So I think you're out, big man. Sorry, man. Anthony says Mountain Dew should never be allowed. Okay, we've got 2 people left in. Now, I've got enough questions to keep going, but obviously we'll only get somewhere if you pick different choices. Up to you. I'm not telling you what you do, but 50-50 a lot of this time, innit? Okay. Next question then. In the current NATO phonetic alphabet, obviously W is whiskey, but whiskey replaced Wellington. True or false? Whiskey with Molly saying only Ben and Shay answer. Yeah, I'll be lucky with that. Okay, I'm not going to wait because they've both said false. Correct. False is right. False is correct. It replaced William, actually, and then it was originally Washington. Washington, then William, then whiskey. What if they're both wrong? I will let them have it, I guess. Play. So Luna's saying they could play all night. I've only got a few more questions left, and then I can do a tiebreaker. So don't worry, we won't be here all night. Okay, and to be fair, we've got 2 of the most knowledgeable people in here. So what I need to do is do one that's going to really screw them over, right? Okay. Next question. Yeah, heads or tails, definitely. Next question. Glenlivet had a famous cat called Towser the Mouser that reportedly killed over 28,000 mice over her 24 years. True or false? Glenlivet had a famous cat called Towser the Mouser, that reportedly killed over 28k mice over her 24 years. They both said false. It was false. Glen Turret had that cat. Damn, you guys are good. I thought that was going to get you. Okay, I've got more questions, but I'm going to do one more question, and then we'll move on to. Yeah, yeah. It was I caught a news story about it. Then I'll go to our tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker will be very much based on who gets their answer in first, as well as nearest. There is a statue. Okay, one last question. Okay. It is impossible to achieve 100% ABV by distillation alone. True or false? Whiskey Diary Ben saying if they draw 1-on-1 GoldenEye. I'm on board with that. Oh, they've gone for something different. Ben says true. Shay says false. The question was, it is impossible to achieve 100% ABV by distillation alone. And that is true. It's true. You can only achieve about 90. I've got it down as 95.6, but some people say about 96%. And a bit of a nerd information for you. After that point, it creates an azeotrope where it can't be distilled like that. You can add things to it like benzene, or you can put it through some other processes, but through distillation alone, impossible to achieve 100% ABV. So Ben wins. Well done. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was just reading the comments then. But well done. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That was a bit of a different take on the quiz. Yeah, what did you think about that? Because I would like to do that again. I found that kind of cool. Downside of someone like Ben winning that is he's got all my merch already. So we'll have to have a chat, see what you got and what you haven't got and what I can get you. But yeah, I thought I could write a quiz like Roy does, but you'd all get 10 out of 10 because my knowledge is nowhere near, not even a little bit near what you guys can do. And I mean, I get okay. Yeah, to be fair, I will do the tie break. How about that? So I'll do one more thing then. Good. It's a good point. Whiskey Molly makes there. I've got a tie break as well. Everybody can play this. Everybody can play it, and it'll be. I'm going to let you all cheat as well, but basically, it'll be fastest finger first. So the first person in the chat that can give me the correct answer, I'll send you a coin or something. You can pick what you want. We'll chat after. You can pick what you want. So fastest finger, sir. Yeah, you can Google this if you want, if you're quick enough. So let's go. Okay. Currently, not in the past, right now, how many litres is the current largest bottle of whiskey? Go. First person in the chat who gives me the right answer. You can cheat all you like. Google it. Guess. If you think you're up on your knowledge, just chuck it in. Chuck in a guess, a random guess. The largest bottle of whiskey ever created. Boom. We've got one already. Big man Pete Head, 311. He's got it. Shay says 4.6 litres. That's nonsense. Yeah, that's nonsense. Well done. Well done. Someone else did get it right as well. David Evans did get it right. Ben says, at the end of the day, you're all nerds. Yes, we're all nerds. Yeah. I thought that would be a good tiebreaker because, especially with two people, you'd have had a little bit of time to figure out, basically. But that sold this year. It's I mean, bloody surprise! It was a Macallan. It's a 32-year-old Macallan, 1989, sold for 1.4 million. It's called the Intrepid. Great. Who cares? But yeah, okay. So let me write that down. In fact, if you can email me, guys, who are the winners, Ben and Big Man Pete Head, Vin at NoNonsenseWhisky.com, or get onto me on whatever channel you want, just to let me know, and I'll send you something out. We can talk about what you get. You know, if you want a hip flask, you want glasses, whatever, I don't care. You can have whatever you want. And because I'm a nice guy, David Evans, because you were so close, my friend, and you got it bang on, you can have something as well. No one else, though. If anyone else puts in 311, you don't get it. Oh, Discord. I didn't even think about a Discord after party. Yes, let's do a Discord after party. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up now, guys. This has been a live stream again from me. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. I should do more. Ironically, Thursdays are my free night, so I'll have to have a think about it. But yeah, basically what they're talking about there, Discord after party. There's a link in the description below for Discord. If you're a member of Discord already, I know there's a couple of different really great ones, but I've got my own server, and we'll probably have a little video chat there, and we can get everyone. It's a pain in the ass with everyone talking on the chat in it. So for you guys, good effort, Chris Hughes. Sorry, buddy, time's passed. I appreciate it though. But yeah, sorry I haven't had much chance to chat with you guys properly, but hopefully we'll do that in Discord now. Please do join. You know, I can teach you how to put the notifications in certain ways so that you don't get disturbed all the time. Excellent. But yeah, okay. One final thing from me then is to say a massive thank you to everybody who's been supporting me over the years. Really appreciate it. 6 years has both dragged and flown by, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm taking breaks when I want to, and I'm producing content when I want to, rather than pushing myself to do it every week. But I massively appreciate all of you for checking me out today. I've had a steady 40 people, which is insane. Thank you very much for checking me out. And again, If you're still here and you haven't liked it yet, if you want me to do more of these, hit the like button. If not, I'll see you over on Discord momentarily. Speak to you all soon.